Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from my channel Hybrid Mod Railway. Today I'd just like to take a few moments to show you how to fix a common problem with these precision radio controlled alarm clocks. Now, I've had two of these clocks, including this one. I've had this one about 3 or 4 years, and I had the one before that for 2 or 3 years. So pretty much 6, maybe 5 years total owning these type of clocks. Now, they're very good clocks. The functions are very basic for how much they cost. Back when I bought these, I don't know if they're still available now, they were about £7 or £8 each, which is really not much, and it's basically everything you want in a simple alarm clock. It's radio controlled, so in the advertisements I've seen, it keeps to the nearest second, sort of accurate to 1 second in 10 million years. You can set the time yourself in case you haven't got radio signal. It does keep time, obviously, as I said, very well. The alarm is plenty loud enough, and so is the buzzer. Trust me, that's loud enough at 6:55 on a morning. And it's got the month, date, day and temperature, which is also kind of an interesting feat to just glance at every now and then. However, the only one problem I've encountered with these is that the snooze bar button on top often becomes dislocated. It sort of sinks into the side of the clock or becomes slanted or sloped, sort of set into there. And of course that means that not only can you not activate the light, which is not very bright because of the exposure setting them on, it means you can't snooze your alarm either, which is slightly annoying because that means you have to then unset the alarm, and then of course you may fall back to sleep. So I'm going to show you how to fix that today. It's a very simple fix. It should take you no longer than maybe 5 minutes, and all you will need is some super glue. I wouldn't recommend using hot glue or anything like that for this fix because hot glue is far too messy, and of course you don't want to be melting the body of your clock. Super glue, although it is quite strong, and if you get it in the wrong place, it's very difficult to get it off. Because you're only putting a tiny amount on inside this clock, and I'll show you where to put that in a minute, it just ensures that it's going to stay there. And to be honest, it's the least fuss and the least mess because you don't have to wait for your glue gun to warm up. Only 3 screws to take out of this particular clock. There should be 4, but back when I made this fix 2 or 3 years ago, when I first got this clock, I screwed up and, well, lost a screw. So, there we go. How many screws are going to come out? That's 2, and that's 3. So the snooze bar has popped out, and I think partly because the reason why it is such a poor design is because it is just a little dimple, a little cylinder there that presses on top of the button. So your clock will come apart in 2 halves. Just be careful not to snag any of the wires or anything like that. And the button that does the snoozing, as you could probably see and turns the light on, is that little button there. So all you need to do is slide that little button out. It's on a little platform at the bottom there, as you can see. And it also slots in to there. So all you need to do is slide the button out, put a tiny spot of glue underneath the button, a tiny spot of glue on the surface of that little support there, and a tiny little spot of glue into where the button slots, and that will sort it. Do be careful not to glue the button shut, as I did when I first made this repair. So that's 2 things I nosed up when I first did it, because then, of course, your button will be permanently on and won't do anything. If you do need to replace it, they are very cheap. These are sort of buttons on every generic circuit board that needs a discrete programming button, or inside your games controllers if you've got any more. And the wiring is very simple. You just take one side of the button, put one wire on one of the prongs and one wire on the other of the prongs, and it's very simple. So that is the fix. Spot of glue where I showed you earlier. Then all you need to do is let that set. You can probably see some of the staining. Then take your button, slide it into one end like that, slide the lip in there, slide it in there, make sure you hear the click of the button, and then, without disturbing everything, make sure the little plastic piece there is on top of the button and is pressing it, and sandwich your clock back together. Make sure the button still gets pressed, as it does do there. That wasn't quite fully seated. That is fully seated now. Clip it back together Yes, you can still hear the click, and yes, you can feel the click, and it's now a simple job of just reassembling your clock. As I say, this is the only problem in the 5-6 years of owning these types of clocks. That's the only thing that's ever gone wrong for me. Everything else works absolutely fine, and it's definitely been worth the £7 or £8 I paid for each clock. The first one, I can't remember if the battery's corroded inside or something else mucked up, but as I say, I've had this one 2 or 3 years now and nothing else has gone wrong. It wasn't just the clicker that was fixed on the old alarm clock, although that was one of the problems. I just can't remember what the other one was. But yeah, I didn't actually make the fix on the old alarm clock because I would have been much younger then and, you know, were more afraid of dismantling things. And there is your clock fixed. One nice working snooze and light button. Pop the batteries back in. There you go. And all you need to do now is either set the manual receive by pressing it, and then you can set the time yourself, or just leave it as it was and wait until that satellite shows up the bars of signal. And that normally usually takes 3 or 4 minutes. Won't make you sit through that because, of course, we are in the loft. But anyway, that is a very quick video on how to fix these Precision radio-controlled alarm clocks. If you want to buy one off Amazon, I think they are still available, although I'm not sure. The words you are looking for is PREC0100, as I'll show you here. There, that is the search terms you are looking for if you can read my terrible handwriting. You can either search Precision Radio Controlled Alarm Clock with Colour LCD Display, and the first couple of results will show you ones like this, or just look for the clock that looks like that. Or you can search the model number, which is PREC, PREC for Precision, and 0100. That is the model number. So if you search Precision PREC 0100, you will be able to come across that clock almost immediately. I think it's currently at £9 on Amazon. So either they've updated the design ever so slightly, or the price has just increased as they're becoming more rare, I guess, because these were produced quite a few years ago now. So anyway, that was a quick video on how to fix the snooze button on these Precision alarm clocks. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope this has been useful for you. Take care, and bye for now.